Nice, yes.
Hey, Dad, you got a second?
Yeah, what's up, son? Mom's at work, just watching the game. What's going on? Turn this off for you.
I was thinking about my future.
Really? What
Yeah.
you thinking about?
I think I'm gonna enlist, Dad.
That's great to hear, son. I'm really proud of you. Just promise me right now that you're gonna do your research. As long as you do your research, you got my permission.
Okay, so when and where, you can go to any local recruiting station. Most of the recruiting stations, actually all of the recruiting stations you can find on Google. But around this area, as for the Army, we have one in Niagara Falls, we have one in Tonawanda, we have one in West Seneca, and then we have one in Cheektowaga. And then if you're interested in enlisting, you can start as early as the age of 17 as a junior. That is for the Army Reserves. But if you want active duty, which is like full-time Army, you'd have to wait till you're a senior and at least 17 years of age and have parental consent.
Second question: what kind of jobs does the Army offer?
So the Army offers over 150 different career fields to choose from. Anything from the medical field, like a nursing specialist, to x-ray technician, to an operating room specialist, to construction, horizontal, vertical construction engineers, asphalt layers, plumbers, combat side jobs where you get to blow stuff up and have a little bit of fun, military police officers, canine dog handlers. You can even be a veterinarian. That one's just a little bit harder to get. We have firefighters. So anything that you can do out in the regular world, you can do it in the Army. And the difference is the Army pays the funds to pay for you to get your training.
Third question: what are some benefits in joining the military in general?
All right, so general benefits of joining the military is, of course, guaranteed training in a job field of your choice. We do have bonuses up to $40,000. That just depends on a couple factors. Your complete college tuition, all the way up to a master's degree, can be completely paid for. Free comprehensive medical and dental care, affordable life insurance, and those are pretty much just the basic ones without going too deep.
Fourth question: what are the benefits of enlisting into the Army instead of another branch?
Okay, so a main benefit of listening into the Army instead of another branch is we'll actually get to guarantee your job field. So like, let's say you come in, you sit down, you score well on the test, and you say, hey, I want to be a nursing specialist. You do well enough on the test, we'll be able to pull everything as far as the incentives, when you'll start the training, how long your enlistment will be for. So there's no smoke and mirrors right then and there before you swear or enlist in or swear in and join the Army. And then we tend to offer a lot more incentives as far as money wise, and like with the student loan repayment program too. So we tend to offer a little bit more, and then we guarantee your actual job and what you'll be doing your entire term of enlistment.
Fifth question: what does somebody need to enlist into the Army?
Oh, all right. So are you talking about like paperwork wise, or like the requirements that you need?
Yeah.
Okay. So to enlist in the Army, you need a couple pieces of simple paper. You need your birth certificate, a valid state picture ID, so driver's license or state identification card. You'll need your social security card, and then you will need a high school diploma or a letter stating that you're going to graduate high school on time. And then if you're married, you kind of need the same documents for your significant other, or if you have children, the same applies to them too. And if you are 17 years old, then you have to get an extra document, which is parental consent, which is just allowing your parents for you to process with us since you're under the age of 18.
Sixth question: what is the ASVAB and how are the scores used for a needed requirement to get a specific job?
Okay. So the ASVAB is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery Test. Right? It's a basic requirement for all branches, not just the Army. You need a minimum qualifying score of 31, which is your overall score. But the 31 being the overall score, it's broken down into line scores. And each of those line scores have different categories. So one will apply to mechanics, another one will apply to combat, communications, and there's about 6 other ones as well. And based off of those subcategory scores, it details and it shows what the Army, like how well you score in each category, and that's what will be able to pull your job with. So the better you do in a category, if your strong suit is mechanics, the more mechanical jobs the Army will have open to you. And then just like if you did well in the combat score, then more combat jobs. If you did well in ST, which is kind of like medical, more medical jobs.
Question number 7. How did somebody enlist being 17 compared to being 18?
Okay, so kind of like what I said earlier, the documents that you needed, the only real difference is, since they'll still be in high school, instead of having a high school diploma, we'll have to get a high school letter from a guidance counselor stating that they are on track and going to graduate on time, as well as the parental consent. And then that's just a form signed by both parents or one parent if they have full custody, or even a guardian if they don't live with their parents, stating that they're allowing their son, daughter, to process with us, and they give full permission for us to take them to MEPS, as well as conduct paperwork or do paperwork with the individual.
Question 8. Which option is best for someone enlisting? Full active, Army Reserve, or ROTC?
Okay, so that really depends on the individual, and that's kind of the purpose of them sitting down with us, so we can actually sit down and see what their future goals or their future life plans are. Now, as far as saying which one is the best right off the bat, I can't do that. That's literally impossible. What the best route or road for one person might not be the best for another. If you're looking to have a full-time job, or you have a full-time career set in place, or if you want to be a full-time student and have the Army pay for your college bills, the reserves would be best for you if you want to stay local. But if you're looking to travel, get a little bit of excitement, get out of New York, be your own individual, and then kind of have a little bit of excitement, then active duty would be best for you. It all just depends on the person, and then, like I said, what their future goals and plans are in life.
Question 9, the final question for enlistment.
Mhm.
What is the Future Soldier Program?
Okay, so the Future Soldier Program is a program that we have every single Thursday. Normally it's ran at 4 p.m. During the summer we try to do it earlier because you guys don't really have school. And that's for people who are enlisting or who have already enlisted. They'll come in, we'll do a workout, teach them basic Army etiquette, like how to march, military time, how to read maps, stuff like that. Sometimes we'll play a sport to have a little bit of team building exercise. But the whole purpose of it is just to show that somebody making the decision at the age that they are or around this area are not alone, and that there's a lot of other people making the same decision too, and to help you guys support each other. Because once you join the Army, it's like joining a family, and we just want to show that we're all one big team. So.
First question for boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
After enlisting, what kind of condition does somebody have to be at the start of basic combat training?
So the best thing about it is you don't have to be in any kind of super physical condition. The Army doesn't expect you to come in doing 1,000 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, and then running a 2 mile in sub-12s, right? That's a good thing about it. The Army works in a crawl, walk, run phase. So you can be in any shape, size, or form, right? When you come in, you're gonna start off at a crawl, okay? So they're gonna start with light exercises and workouts to start toning you up. About halfway through it, you switch to your walk. That's when you'll do a little bit more, start running a lot more, start doing more push-ups, more sit-ups, and then by the time you're graduating basic training, that's when you'll actually take your physical assessment. So after you've already been through 7, 8, 9 weeks of training, and you're at the run phase where you're actually able to fully run the 2 miles, actually able to do all the sit-ups and all the push-ups that we do. So as far as having a physical requirement before joining the Army, there really isn't. You just have to pass the occupational physical assessment test, which is super easy and it's super simple.
Question 11. What if somebody changes their mind during basic?
Okay. So there's a couple routes that can be taken if somebody changes their mind, like they don't want to do it. They'll talk to their drill sergeants. Once they talk to their drill sergeants, the drill sergeants will sit down and talk to them, kind of find the root of the issue. Because most of the time, somebody just doesn't up and change their mind like that. They have to have an underlying reason, and that's what the drill sergeants try to find. And then they'll talk to you, reason with you, see if you still want to continue to train. If you're dead set on not being able to complete it, or really not wanting to do it and come back because you don't have the mental capacity to complete it, then they'll initiate separation paperwork. And your separation paperwork, you'll get discharged from the Army with an RE3 code, which is a re-enlistment code. The reasoning will be refusal to train. It won't disqualify you from serving again, so if you decide to come back 6 months later, a year down the road, it would just be a little bit of extra paperwork. But there are ways to leave basic training without super negative repercussions.
Question 12, what goes on during basic?
A lot. So basic training is broken down into 3 phases. You have red phase, you have white phase, and you have blue phase. Red is the hardest. It's mainly based on basic military etiquette, physical training, and team building. You have white phase, which is kind of like the middle phase. It's based on like marksmanship, like obstacle courses, and still throughout it more team building as well, because they're trying to get you out of the individual mindset into the team mindset. And then you have blue phase, and blue phase is where you start really learning like how to perform every soldier task properly, start learning the soldier's creed, how to march, as well as like stand up, parade, rest, the different positions that you stand in the military, and then finishing up and actually graduating basic training and becoming a soldier in the United States Army. And then that's when you transition over into your AIT as well.
Last question for boot camp. What is training like and drill sergeants like today?
Okay. So they're definitely not as hard as they used to be. All the movies where you see the drill sergeants slapping, punching people, choking people, that never happens anymore. We have to follow a strict rule book and a strict guideline. And this thing is probably a solid 3 to 4 inches thick. Their whole purpose is to guide and mentor you. They're supposed to be like the father figure, like they're the first main discipline that you have when you join the Army. They're not as strict, but they still are. And then, like I said, their whole purpose is to mold you from being a civilian into thinking and acting like a soldier.
And then moving on to first term. Question 1. After basic, how long does the first term last? And are there different options for time served?
Yes. So after basic training, you'll know all this before you actually go to training in the first place. We can do 2-year contracts, we can do 3-year contracts, 4, 5, and 6-year contracts. Generally, we don't let anybody sign a 6-year contract because that's a super long time unless they're like super dead set on it. And then a 2-year contract is like an incentive, so it's kind of like a bonus that we can attach to somebody's job too if they really only want to do 2 years. But typically what you see is about 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5. Like if somebody picks like a helicopter mechanic or something like that, it's a super in-depth job. And it requires a lot of training. I think the AIT as well as the basic training for like a helicopter or an Apache mechanic alone is just shy of a year itself. So you'd be spending like a year in training and then 4 years outside of it, of course. But generally what you see is about a 3-year to 4-year contract is how long the obligation is.
Question number 2 for first term. What kind of training comes after basic?
So what comes directly after basic training is your advanced individual training. It's AIT is what I spoke of earlier. It's college level job training is what it is. So if you signed up to be a practical nursing specialist, that's where you actually get to work with your EKG machines, learn how to administer IVs, take blood pressure, all that good stuff. Or if you signed up like myself to be a tanker, M1 Abrams crewman, that's where you actually learn how to operate the tank, the different functioning parts of the tank, how to maintain the tank, like add oil to it, change track, stuff like that. So it's really where you get your hands-on portion of the Army, like your hands-on job training. It's like if you were to be a helicopter mechanic, you actually get to work on the helicopter, learn the various tools, learn how to take it apart, fix different issues with the helicopter.
Question number 3. How good is the military job training schools?
Very good. Very good. Like I said, it's regular training that you would receive out here. The difference is that you actually get hands-on experience. I'm not trying to bash any place else, but like if you go to college, Not every single course that you take comes with hands-on experience with a college, like kind of like policing. You know, if you get a degree in criminal justice, it's unlikely that you'll actually get to work with a PD unless you volunteer and learn how to detain people, get pepper sprayed, get tased, stuff like that. You join to be a military police officer in the Army, you go to AIT, you're going to learn all that stuff and you're going to get hands-on experience. You're going to learn how to detain people, you're going to get pepper sprayed, you'll get tased, all that good stuff. Just like I kind of said with being a helicopter mechanic, you're actually going to get to put your hands on the aviation engine, learn avionics, actually take engines apart, fix issues with the helicopter, or get to crawl around the cockpit, get to see everything involving it. So instead of just learning out of a textbook, you're getting classroom information as well as hands-on experience.
Fourth question, generally how much does a new recruit get paid?
So if you enlist, you're looking at around $1,733 a month. Yeah, $1,733. Doesn't seem like much, but once again, absolutely everything that you require is paid for. So healthcare, health insurance, completely paid for. You don't pay for it. Life insurance, $28 a month. Army provides you a place to live. You don't have to pay for heat, gas, electricity, water, any of that. The only bills you have that comes out of that $1,733 are literally bills that you incur on your own. So like a cell phone bill, Xbox, because who doesn't like playing video games, stuff like that. So.
Okay, and then last and final question. What are all the ways, or what are some ways a service member can earn college credits during enlistment?
Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you can earn college credits during enlistment. Every single bit of training that you do in the Army counts towards college training. Believe it or not, or college credits, I apologize. Basic training actually counts towards college credits. Your advanced individual training counts towards college credits. Any kind of extra training that you do inside of the military or inside of the Army counts towards college credits. So we have like resiliency training, we have equal opportunity training, we have sexual harassment training. All those courses get added to what they call a joint service transcript. And then that joint service transcript is what you can print off or get from an education counselor and then transfer over to a college that you're looking to take college courses with. And then their military liaison takes the joint service transcript and then transfers it over to the equivalent of their college credits. So by the time you start an associate's degree, you could be like me and already have 45 credits without even taking a day of college, and then only have to take 7 classes to get your associate's degree.
I already did my research, Dad.
Well, I'm glad you did your research. I'm going to give you my full permission then. Good job. I'm going to get back to my game.
And thank you for your service.